Today, I'm going to discuss the story my wife wants me to forgive her for her midlife infidelity. Also, guys, this is all about a 43-year-old man. His wife is 42 as well. He has been with her for 10 years. He is going to tell the story of how his wife suddenly texted him and said she wanted a divorce. They have an 8-year-old daughter together, and this is after she had been a real pain for a few years. He always complains that he doesn't make enough money and that he doesn't have enough ambition. Even though this man is an anesthesiologist, he makes a living doing all of these things. They have nice homes, vacations, and expensive cars. It doesn't matter. But that's not enough for her. She also works part-time because he makes all the money, by the way. However, she is leaving him, and he has a strong suspicion that something is going on. This is not just her behavior or her actions. You will also see that she actually got a guy and then decides to put him through the divorce to escape the turmoil. But in the end, you'll see that she and her mumbled Tyrone don't get along very well. By the way, he earns a lot more money than her husband does. After that, she appears and begs for a second chance. So, that's a good one in this case. Additionally, guys, this contains numerous lessons. In no particular order, one of them talks about how women will always be looking for people who make more money. Even if they live with a man for a long time, they can provide them with a better lifestyle. Does this imply that every woman will act in that manner? However, many do. Additionally, it will demonstrate the delusions of many modern women. She is 42 in this story. Don't get me wrong. I've seen a lot of attractive women in their 40s and their 42s who put a lot of effort into taking care of themselves in the gym, with their diet, and with other activities. The body, the clothes, the hair, and the nails all look pretty good. However, I assure you, they are far from their best. So you always ask, what can you offer in this situation? Also about how, if things don't work out, they always come back and assume that the nice guy will take them back, even if they treat them badly, as you'll see here. Also, of course, about guys who are too nice and obedient, and how doing so only makes it easier for their wives to take advantage of them, and other things. Therefore, I will go through this. This story contains numerous useful lessons. He begins, noting that my wife and I have been apart for 3 months. In May, we would have celebrated our 12th wedding anniversary. Our daughter is 8 years old. Good things happened during our first 9 years together. I am an anesthesiologist, and I have been employed by the same hospital for 10 years. My job is full-time, and my wife is a leasing consultant part-time. Although it worked well for our marriage, I am much more introverted than my wife. Given her involvement in extracurricular activities with her lover, she is very outgoing. As a result, in the 10th year, my wife became someone I couldn't recognize. I used to look forward to coming home after a stressful day, but lately I find myself spending more and more time after work in the hospital parking lot, doing nothing instead of driving home. That suggests that most married men will go to the bar and do whatever it takes to take a break before confronting their wives at home. He claims that my wife would make cruel remarks and criticize everything. She referred to me as boring and said that my facial expressions were annoying. She detested me in every way. She resented my risk-averse personality, as well as my decision not to quit my secure hospital position and become a self-employed anesthesiologist. Hated you for everything. Harsh remarks. Here is a query. Why does this man tolerate this? Why is this individual not speaking up for himself? I'll explain why. One sentence, nice guy. Gentlemen do not advocate for themselves. Nice men are indifferent and allow themselves to be ignored. And what lessons can be learned from the world's history about nations, individuals, or other entities that allow aggressors to bully them and remain passive? That only encourages more, but nice guys do that. They don't argue, and they speak up for themselves. This is something that no rational person would ignore, and it's no surprise that she treats them this way. I'm not saying it's cool, but being Mr. Nice Guy doesn't help this case. She told me that I never wanted anything better for myself, and that she couldn't stand the fact that I was content with life in the upper middle class, which was only slightly better off than a typical family. Splurge on vacations, slightly larger house, slightly better house aside from that. Though I lead a very ordinary life. A typical woman. A growing number. There was nothing wrong with leading a life of the upper middle class, but she desired more. What does she do to acquire that? What makes her so unique? Last time I checked, anesthesiologists earn a decent living no matter where they practice. However, that is insufficient for her. And what is her contribution to the team? What does she believe she is entitled to more? It's important to ask these questions. He says I admit that I would earn much more if I were a self-employed person, but the money I was making was sufficient, even though I owed money for medical school, bought a house in a good school district, and bought 2 nice luxury cars. Some people were not interested in starting their businesses. A lot of people would rather work for someone else and live comfortably than run their own business. There is a lot of uncertainty there, and I can assure you that the majority of people lack the drive to run a business. Despite this, I make every effort to make my wife happy. And this is the source of the issue. When she wanted to go on vacation, I would immediately agree, take time off from work, and arrange an impromptu trip in which we stayed in a very nice location. I'd also give her gifts to surprise her. Therefore, as a result of all of her bad behavior, you are giving her these rewards. Guys, you don't praise bad behavior. You advocate on your behalf. And if it gets out of hand, you start making plans to walk or make her believe you can walk. However, I will wager that because he has a daughter, he believes that I must endure this for the sake of the daughter, which is undoubtedly noble. You will survive, even if the divorce hits you hard. She will treat you even worse if you move, and you will no longer be treated with disrespect. These individuals are unable to comprehend this. They say, I'll just bear it for my daughter, or the kids, or whatever. Your children will witness your miserable marriage, and they will one day experience the same thing. And believe me when I say that I have observed this in my own life. What shall I do? Because she was a plaintiff and was previously the primary caregiver for our child, she was doing rather poorly in court. As a result, I don't know if my wife is attempting to get the case dismissed. I also don't trust her. That too, if your gut tells you something is wrong, trust it. Additionally, his gut says, I don't trust her. Do you want to marry someone you don't trust? It will never work. Because of this midlife madness, I'm not sure if I should give her a chance or just file as a plaintiff and see the divorce through. You're done now. Follow through. In my grief, I've turned a lot of my feelings for my wife into cold apathy, which is making a lot of old wounds come back. I am unable to determine whether it would be worthwhile. I am aware that if I file and our daughter ever asks, I will have to admit that I ultimately decided the marriage was not worth keeping. No, you can tell your daughter that her mother was the one who made the mistake. With her, you can be blunt. Your mother cheated on you. She ended her marriage after 3 years with a different man and left without a care in the world for you. You could say that, but she won't believe it if she doesn't want to hear it. Hey, you did your part, but how did you remain steadfast and bear all of your daughter's suffering? No, not ideal. As a result, we received a few comments that I always enjoy reading. I enjoy reading to support my viewpoint. One man asserts that the marriage ended as soon as we began her 3-year unfaithfulness. She didn't just have an unfaithful partner. She also treated him like a child and played with his back so much that she didn't want to come home. And this isn't a midlife crisis. She did not suddenly become blind. Midlife crises are not an excuse for bad behavior on their own. She betrayed her marriage through a series of conscious and deliberate choices, and the divorce only made matters worse. She would still be fighting the OP in court if her AP wanted her, if that man still desired it. You would be correct about that. Moreover, she is the liar who mistakenly believed that he would once again be different from me. This individual was known for having brief relationships. Because she was so unique at 42, she thought she would be different. Back to the whole delusional thing once more. According to another guy, the relationship was worth ending. She acted that way, causing you a lot of emotional harm, and she makes it sound like she only cares about herself. She didn't just commit a mistake and have sex with someone she chose. Rather, she walked out on your marriage and returned only after it failed with a new jack. Man, good luck. Although this is brutal, your daughter will comprehend that you would be better off without her. If the daughter hates her mother, she will one day understand. And the mother has it coming, yes, for the next 3 years, that she had an affair with him and was cruel to him. As you were informed at the outset of this account, as well as now, she was making life difficult for him during the divorce. She believes that he is the bad guy. Just to clear the air, add one more here. You are a practicing anesthesiologist solely on your income, and you outlive the vast majority of Americans in terms of income and lifestyle. Yes, anesthesiologist, as far as I can tell, earn a decent living. Is there an anesthesiologist watching this? Let us all hear what you create. Your wife needs to see the big picture. She wanted to live the life of an oil tycoon because she is married to a doctor. You shouldn't return her. She is the epitome of a gold miner and a user, and I cannot emphasize this enough. But once more, I mentioned the old monkey branching, if you will, at the beginning of the video, trying to get, I'm gonna get somebody else, make more. Also, if a woman is with a guy and a wealthy celebrity drives by in a Ferrari and gives her the phone number, she can take it. She'll think about it, even if she didn't immediately jump in the car. As well as how they will always return. Because they believe that nice guy will just take him back. They will always return to him. Additionally, this demonstrates that being a gentleman does not necessitate confrontation or standing up for oneself. I don't care who it is, how wonderful you guys are. Stand up for yourself if someone is treating you badly or using you and your friends unfairly. Because if you do not, the abuse will continue because the person will lessen their respect for you the more you endure it. However, this is an issue that many guys simply do not comprehend. They believe they must elevate her to a pedestal and please her. Oh, if I do this, she'll love me more. After that, he continues to show kindness by doing all of these nice things, which causes the girl to lose even more respect and so on. Women respond to strength, just like children do. Things will only get worse if you do not respect yourself and defend yourself against the inevitable challenges that will confront you. If, once more, you guys engage in romantic relationships. For those of you who don't do this, this just reinforces the reasons why you live the way you do. However, guys, that would be a good choice here. When the gal is around, it's always nice to hear these stories. These guys suffer as a result, but in the end, they return pleading for a second chance. This man needs assistance, so let's hope that this story will help some guys out there who might be in a bad marriage or in a bad situation to learn from it and make better decisions.